Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to new kit in the blog, Zarhus Developers Meetup, version 1 or number 1. This is new event that we starting. My name is Piotr Król. I'm founder of 3M a company which is behind products like Zarhus OS, Dasharo, or Pace Enterprise Training. What this meeting is about, it is about giving you a heads up about vision and mission of Zarhus OS and essentially show you what Zarhus team worked recently. And yeah, this is for us to gather together and create some marketing material that we can use to promote our services, our products. And it is all about being honest, open, authentic, and essentially create some accountability of our work, accountability of others' work. The goal is to create a foundation, a good foundation for open source project and for open source growth of Zarhus OS. That's the first event, and I hope there will be more. We even have some plans that I will let you know about on further slides. But maybe for those who don't know, let's start what is Zarhus. Because last presentation I gave was on the Dasharo user group number 5. It was almost a year ago or around a year ago. The video is not very good on YouTube, so I will try to get through this one more time. So by no mistake, we want to focus on digital sovereignty. Essentially, Zarhus is an embedded Linux distribution based on Yocto. It's developed by 3M Deb. Zarhus is essentially a simplified version of wants to simplify provisioning, integration, and maintenance of the embedded platforms with the focus of leveraging the root of trust and chain of trust technology. So our client's application can be correctly secure, can be deployed in trustworthy manner. But it's not only about that. And let's little bit talk about this meetup and this meeting. So first of all, this meeting is for Zarhus team and for our partners. Of course, everyone else is free to join, and we are very happy to have other interested parties. We hope this will be quarterly event. The goal is to have very short presentation and really deep focus on demos. To be honest, we want to minimize amount of theory and maximize amount of the practical outcome of our work. So the focus is on the demo. Of course, there will be various balance depending on the topic. There will be some time for questions between every demo, every presentation, every 20-minute slot. There will be 5 minutes for questions. And this recording will land on YouTube at some point. I don't know if this will be quick or not, but that's the goal. So what's our agenda for today? You are here, so you are at this Welcome Zarhus Developers Meetup. Then next person will be Daniel, who will talk about KickSecure and RAM wipe developed by KickSecure team, and how we tested RAM wipe and various challenges that we faced during the testing process. Next presentation will be from Michał, who will talk about cache timing attacks and how do they work. There will be a little bit of theory, but there will be also some practical results of what we did. It is all done in context of the Crosscon hypervisor, which we work a lot recently. That's that part. Then the next presentation will be from Victor, and Victor essentially integrated Zarhus with Crosscon hypervisor to some extent, using the Zarhus operating system to build as a VM inside the Crosscon hypervisor, and he faced some challenges in embedded environment, and he will talk about that part. And finally, Mateusz will talk about OpenBMC. I already saw there is some traction. There are some people interested in that. So Mateusz was able to take OpenBMC and essentially boot it on a Supermicro X11 SSH. This is you can say, old and abandoned project, but there is already enough people that still have the server. Even I have behind me, that server. So I'm also very happy to have this presentation. There will be demo. Yeah, and then we will get into closing remarks and some final questions. Okay, so let's get back to talking a little bit about Zarhus. And what's really the mission, the vision, and the strategy of this project, and strategy and mission, vision, and strategy for the team. So first thing that I would like to talk is that we should not delude ourselves about current state of the technology. I know that everyone got very strong opinion about AI LLMs, but here I think we should take care and look carefully about this paradigms that coming, that like vibe coding or vibe opsing, what kind of those paradigms doing with whole consulting ecosystem, with whole software house ecosystem, and where this all going, and how we should really react to those trends. So many companies developing embedded software must enhance their resilience to avoid losing this kind of new game where LLMs are very actively used in developing software for embedded systems. So likely embedded systems are quite resilient against this, because there is still a physical part which is not yet so much automated, but the software part is like under heavy attack, you can say, of auto-generated code and the machine which learning to code. And the question is how those companies should react, how those companies should, what kind of strategy they should put on stage, or what mission they should realize to consider that problem. So I think that the resiliency exists in the self-hosted and private models. So I think that that Zarhus as an embedded system, as a team who's do embedded system boot optimization and security focused integration, have to think how to deliver the operating system which help in self-hosting and defending the private models from potential malicious attacks, external attacks on the integrity of those models. Because I think the game is in the private models where companies leverage their own internal knowledge, and not only companies, but also people who got their own databases. They have their own, I don't know, storage with pictures or like family videos. They want to use models, but they don't want to leak that outside. So the goal is to deliver the operating system, deliver the embedded systems, which will help in protecting and defending this independence. So we should ask ourselves questions like, who and what loads those models on our shiny new hardware? So we have this new laptop or this new computer, and it already coming with some model, and then something loads this. Those are typically loaded by either peripheral controllers or either by operating system itself. Then question is, what is the role of those peripheral microcontrollers in boot chain? And we have this management engines, we have like all this like weird peripheral controllers, which really software we don't control. But on the other side, Zarhus team can respond to that, delivering support in embedded controller, in OpenBMC, like in embedded controller, in SuperIO, in BMC. So we can be there and help create trustworthy computing. So then maybe we should ask ourselves, what is the correct way of using those new paradigms in accelerating our development? And the answer for that right now, without going with too big words or too big investments, is that I would like to keep this discussion open and provide help when needed via the virtual meetups and face-to-face training conferences. And that's something that I would like Zarhus team being engaged in, so we can talk with people, meet people, attest like real humans, talk with real humans to address those challenges. So LLMs will be extension and improvement over our workload, and not the replacement of our workload. So that's my kind of view here. And if we talk, and we're talking about embedded environment, but I think it's much wider discussion. It's a operating system level discussion. So we're thinking here about CubesOS, about Kick Secure, about FreeBSD, about Debian, Fedora. It's not only embedded system which is like Yocto based and that's it. There are also other operating systems which also will need the same support. So these virtual meetups are open to this to also other operating system to learn from each other. Okay, the next thing is about navigating through this growing complexity of the boot chain, which I already mentioned. So we have Microsoft Pluton, we have Google Titan, Amazon Nitro, Apple T2, AMD Secure Processor, Intel CSME, OCP Calitra, OpenTitan, and so on and so on. We have like a bunch of root of trust chips that coming. Some are open, some are less open, some are completely closed. Like most of them are completely closed. More to that, those are responsible for root of trust of our platform, for maintaining the chain of trust, for power management. So we have additional controllers for power management. We have audio controllers, which also got their own firmware. Then we have sensors, which also get like quite sophisticated firmware. We have USB PD, which also gets the firmware. And then like everywhere we have firmware, which is typically closed source, but we should take care about improving that. And also these peripheral controllers essentially extend the boot chain. And that's also another problem that we see that I would like to help through Zarhus work on optimization of the boot process and security of the boot process. So those peripheral controllers that coming or will grow and will make the boot process more complex will not stand on our way into trustworthy boot chain. Yeah, so that's something I would like to work on. And finally, from the mission side, of course, we want to simplify approach to the hardware security enablement. So we focus primarily right now on Cortex-A, so ARM Cortex-A class devices, but we have also no issue dealing with x86. We have no problem with RISC-V. If, of course, the hardware will be good enough and powerful enough to compete with other solutions, and there will be contracts for that. And we also did stuff with power, with open power architecture, so that's also completely fine for us. So all those architectures got their own security features. Those are very often not the mainstream, not the upstream enabled features. And very often it is in a way that, okay, it is enabled on some old code, on some old branch, or some unmaintained version of the kernel, on some vendor code. So that's very bad, and this is something that we want to improve, and this is something that we want to simplify. So Zarhus was always about improving the root of trust provisioning, maintaining chain of trust, improving the use of various other root of trust, like root of trust for measurement, root of trust like or dynamic or static root of trust for measurement, root of trust for identity like TCG dice, then root of trust for updates, or root of trust for recovery if that's needed. And of course, don't forget about secure boot. So secure boot is a big word, but it's kind of chain of trust technology. So in ARM ecosystem or embedded ecosystem, everything is a secure boot. But let's be honest, on x86, it's not always like secure boot doesn't mean everything. There are also other security technologies, and secure boot does not mean that you really boot securely if you just have this one feature. Okay, so okay, let's assume that we realize this mission, we're going with that mission, and where this will lead us, to what world we will get following that path. So I think we will get into the realm where systems become more secure, more trustworthy, and there will be respect for right to repair. I think that those modern tools and modern methods of developing software, embedded software, and security, like high quality security and trustworthy systems is something that will enhance creativity and collaboration. And this will be like kind of extension of human creativity and collaboration instead of replacing the humans. And finally, I believe that it is very important to have community in which we can discuss things, because if we are closed in our houses, in our basement, this doesn't help much in building respect for freedom, in simplifying things, in building independent, sovereign approach to the embedded systems, and not only to system boot and security. Okay, so what kind of strategies we may have here? So I believe like we should focus on extending core firmware components. So from perspective of Zarhus Team, it would be U-boot, it would be ARM trusted firmware, it would be Linux kernel. And I guess like somewhere in user space, we ending up our activity and just getting the power to the developers. Of course, we would like to make it as much fully as possible, as reproducible as possible, including the toolchain, and of course auditable from the perspective of root of trust and chain of trust provisioning, like assessment, provisioning, and maintenance. Then I would like to go also with integrating cutting-edge hardware security building blocks, like all this stuff around secure storage, secure elements, DTPMs, OPTI, and all stuff related with keeping our platform secure. And then where we can learn, I already told that we would like to learn not only from very narrow area of embedded systems, but we would like to learn from Zarhus Team, from OpenXT, from CubesOS, from KickSecure, FreeBSD, OpenWRT. I guess they have a lot to learn from. Debian, Fedora, of course, those are major distributions which deliver a lot of value. And then how we would, like, let's say we will develop something based on those strategies, then we would of course like to show this, and I would like to make it as much demo driven as possible, and as little like theory driven as possible. And yeah, and I hope these events will be great place to present the results of that work. So it's a little bit about the chain of delivering value. So one thing would be PACE Enterprise training, where we deliver trainings about all the technology that we have below. So definitely we are around silicon vendor security technologies, which rely on either on some boot ROM, can be OpenBMC, can be PSP or management engine. Of course, those are related with some static core or static code root of trust for measurement, or root of trust for verification, which then relies on some OTP or if uses. And that's the beginning of the word for trustworthy platform. We want to have good relation with silicon vendors to be able to open those technology. And if it's not possible to open that because of some legal stuff, we at least would like to expose tools so people can deploy that on their own and own their keys to the system. Then, of course, we're getting through some middle layer, and that could be trusted firmware, that could be U-boot, that could be core boot, Dasharo, Slim bootloader, EDK2. There can be like a middle layer firmware. Doesn't always have to be for smaller system. It's just U-boot, and we are very quickly in the system. And finally, where Zarhus delivers value is tooling for maintaining this stuff that was said before, like this. So we essentially said about root of trust and chain of trust tooling. What technology we would like to use? We would like to write it in C, Python, Rust, Go. And here I see a project like OpenBMC, of course, Linux kernel, Yocto project as some foundation for our work. How it relates to Dasharo? So Zarhus Team maintains RTE OS. So RTE is like our open hardware platform, which we use in our labs to maintain power cycles of the platforms, to read over serial, flash SPI, and so on. So that's something that we do. So that's RTE, and we have like meta layer in Zarhus, which essentially gives some functionality to that tool. Then we have meta PC engines, which is not very popular right now because like PC engines already get out of the business, but there is still value that we can learn from this meta layer. At some point, it was used by some community members. And then Dasharo toolsuit, which is probably the biggest part of the Zarhus right now, where we essentially help in deploying Dasharo to various devices. Okay, so what kind of value proposition? I already mentioned that. I don't want to repeat that, but maybe four areas are, so those root of trust, chain of trust tools, which improve the situation of collaboration with hardware and making it trustworthy. Then lifecycle management, of course, that means we need CI/CD to build our system, to get new version, to fix the CVEs, and then deliver the updates. Secure elements are critical in our case. We need support for TPM, we need support for HSM, because how we will sign the images, how we will do measured boot, how we will do the unsealing of the keys for the encrypted drive, and so on. So that's why we need secure element support. And then overall software stack integration, where we would like to, in flexible way, integrate various types of software. What kind of vendors we will work with? Like, we already have experience with most of the important vendors. So yeah, you can see here, of course, x86 from ARM environment, NXP, Rockchip, definitely like Texas Instrument, also Broadcom, MediaTek. Like, NVIDIA is hard to work with because they are right now very arrogant, but hopefully they will change over time. Marvell is great company with really great ARM chips. Yeah, so that's companies that we work with. How community can use it? So you can go to docs.zarhus.com, you can go to github.com/Zarhus, and there are Zarhus issues if you want to communicate with us. There are meta layers which you can use in your Yocto projects. There is a bunch of software already implemented. There are also many meta layers which were not migrated from the 3M Dev organization, and this is something we work on right now. Yeah, and in total we have like almost 90,000. Probably we crossed the 90,000 lines of code, where 70,000 were contributed upstream to various projects over the years. Okay, how to buy it? Like, there are already pre-made services and products that you can go to our shop and can generally go through categories and find something which will be handled by Zarhus team. Of course, every time when you're buying Dasharo, I should fix this slide because this is old one. Dasharo Pro package. When you're buying that package, then you use typically the DTS to deploy it. So yeah, that's how you essentially benefit from Zarhus. And of course, there are a bunch of services of secure boot integration for NXP or Rockchip. There is also integration for TPM and UEFI secure boot for x86 platform. But of course, if there will be like advanced ARM platforms with use UEFI, we also would do that integration. There are things like Intel Boot Guard assessment or TXI secure boot assessments. Those use certain tools which are developed by Zarhus team. And there are even more comings, which I have on further slides. Of course, there are trainings. You can go to paceenterprisetraining.com and you will just redirect to the page where we have list of trainings. Part of that is under Zarhus team. So I know I have to finish. Those are meta layers and some projects that we recently have some activity in. You can find it on GitHub. This is activity of the meta DTS. This is activity, like, it's much less activity of meta RTE. So I wanted also to praise Daniel for giving a Dasharo toolsuit update at the end of last year. But you know, I think we need more of that. We need more presentation about work of the Zarhus team, and that's why we should have further events. And this is rough plan. I don't know if these dates will hold on, but we will announce that, of course, as always, on our social media. We plan to do the next Zarhus Developers Meetup on 5th August, and then next one on 4th November. Yeah, and yeah, what's coming? I guess we would like to work on Zarhus BMC, and Mateusz will show a little bit of that. We have some work on OpenWRT on x86, so this is something also that we plan to present. I really think that investing more in secure boot, especially on Rockchip, which is very popular recently, is something that we want to go with. I think there is some place for machine learning in embedded systems, especially that modern ARM SoC coming with TPUs. So it would be great to show how to leverage those and what kind of capabilities those are. There are some really nice projects where you can do this, and of course this will bring some attention to our work and maybe bring some margins so we can deliver more. We will work on boot optimization for some industrial hardware, which will leverage Slim bootloader. We would like to work on GPU and crypto stuff. And of course, we'd like to contribute more, because right now we are at 17K lines of code contributed, and we would like to deliver more. And I guess that's it. Where you can find us, you can go, of course, to GitHub, or you can go to zarhusmatrix3md.com. And there are 3 channels there: general, support, and random. It's very small community. I hope it will grow at least to the size of Dasharo. But to make it that big, we definitely need more work and more presentation. So I guess that's it from me. I'm not sure if there are any questions, or we can leave it to the end, because I think we have next slot right now.